There is nothing worse than a Capricorn's temper, except maybe an Aries temper. Thank you for listening and watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Contact me at lamar.townsend@gmail.com for your own personal reading. All my readings are confidential, strictly confidential, and they are preserved in confidentiality as well. I do video readings, and I charge $1 per minute. You can also book your own personal reading or contact me for a personal reading at lamartownsendtarot.com. Check out my website, lamartownsendtarot.com. Follow me on Instagram at Lamarr Townsend. Like me on Facebook, facebook.com/Lamarr Townsend Official. Follow me on Google+. Follow me on SoundCloud and check out my Bandcamp. Alright. So, what makes a Capricorn, what pisses a Capricorn off? What makes a Capricorn mad? What makes a Capricorn tick? Capricorns are such complex creatures. Sometimes you just never know what will make them tick. You never know what will set them off, you know? But here are a few things that will set a Capricorn off. Capricorns hate dealing with stupidity. Okay? Now, you're wondering what exactly is stupidity? Well, stupidity is a situation where someone is not using their common sense. Now, some of you are saying, well, common sense can be debatable. Exactly. Common sense for a Capricorn is, someone should be able to, think for themselves. Someone should be able to figure out things for themselves. Someone should be able to do for themselves. Someone should be able to figure it out for themselves. Figure it out for yourself. Use your common sense and figure it out for yourself, context clues is included in common sense. Like, someone needs to be able to use their context clues. Someone needs to be able to have emotional intelligence as well, so that, you can be able to read energies, read a person's energy, read a person's feelings. Like, and it's really difficult when a Capricorn has to explain these things to you like I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a Capricorn has to explain, like, common sense things that the Capricorn would expect, someone or expect, to be common sense. If a Capricorn has to explain something to you that the Capricorn sees as something that's just common sense, that's going to make a Capricorn mad. That pisses a Capricorn off. That's one of our pet peeves. By the way, I'm a Capricorn. Nice to meet you. That's one of our pet peeves, is that we love people. We don't like when people use common sense. We love people who use common sense, So we don't like when people don't use their common sense. We don't like when people aren't able to figure out things for themselves. They need you to figure it out. Please help me figure this out. It's like, when if you had just used your common sense, you really could have figured it out yourself. But now you need us to interject into your situation and use our common sense. You know what I'm saying? It's not even intelligence. It's common sense, people. Okay, common sense. We have to come in and use our common sense. I mean, it's like, wow, I know, it's like, wow, Capricorn, I never thought of it that way. I never, why didn't I think of that? It's just like, why didn't you think of that? It's common sense, people. So when people don't use their common sense, that makes a Capricorn very angry. When people don't stick to their word. Number two, when people don't stick to their word, when you don't stick to your word, when you say you're going to do something, when you say you're going to call, and you don't call at a certain time, when you say you're going to be somewhere at a certain time and you don't show up, or you don't show up on time, when you say you're going to pick the Capricorn up at this time, or you're almost there, but you come 30 minutes later, an hour later, like that, it's going to make a Capricorn upset, because you're not sticking to your word. You have to stick to your word, you know what I'm saying? If you say you're going to do something, then you have to do it with a Capricorn. You have to have follow through with a Capricorn, okay? Follow through is so important, because Capricorn is that type of sign where it's like, if you show the Capricorn love, if you show the Capricorn follow through, if you show the Capricorn consistency and that you're reliable, you know what I'm saying, that you stick to your word, that Capricorn is going to do the same for you tenfold. You know what I'm saying? The more that you show that you're, reliable, consistent, and you stick to your word. You know, the Capricorn will open up more to you, and you'll receive that back tenfold. But you know, if you don't stick to your word, you're just gonna make the Capricorn upset. You're gonna piss the Capricorn off. So stick to your word. You know, Capricorns hate when people don't stick to their words. Number three, Capricorns don't like reliable people. If there's one thing Capricorns cannot stand, it's that, you know, they kind of bank on someone. It's like, okay, I'm banking on this person to do this thing, to come through for me and do this thing. And you know, um, if you say, you know, you're yeah, sure, Capricorn, I'll be there, and you don't, once again, you don't stick to your word. You know, that shows you're not reliable. You know, if you, or even if like you're just like, nah, I can't do that. You know, every time a Capricorn asks you for something or asks you to do something or something like that, you're just like, nah. You're just like really wishy-washy. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check my schedule. I'll get back to you. You know, that's kind of that show. That's an unreliability as well. So if you're not reliable, once again, if you don't stick to your word, if you're a type of person who doesn't answer text back, you know, answer a text back, or like doesn't answer a phone call back, or you just don't pick up your phone, or you know what I'm saying? If you're like not reliable in communication, that's another big thing with Capricorns is like, you know, reliability in communication. If you're not reliable when it comes to communication, then you know you're just gonna piss that Capricorn off, and the Capricorn's not gonna want to deal with you. Capricorns really hate unreliable people. Unreliable people to Capricorn is someone who is unstable and kind of mentally weak. You know, they're not able to really manage their lives and prioritize things. So Capricorns hate unreliability. Number four. So what else have we said? We've said, you know, we hate unreliability. We hate people that don't stick to their word. We don't like people invading our space. So we don't like people invading our space, I guess would be number four. We don't like people invading our space. Like Capricorn is the sign that there's like an invisible bubble around us wherever we go, and we just, please don't burst this bubble that we have around us, you know, unless we're comfortable with you like that, and we're not very comfortable with many people like that in our lives, family, friends, or not, like partners. You know, it really takes time for us to open up to you. So, you know, invading our space is not a good thing. Going through our phone, you know, when you haven't asked or we haven't given you permission to, you know, just being all up in our space, being all up on us, like, no, back up, please, you know, like, we need space, we need space. We are a sign that needs space. We like our alone time every now and then, and if you can't jive with that, if you can't get down with that, if you can't vibe with that rhythm, then we're just not, you and a Capricorn are just not going to vibe well at all. Capricorns need their space. We don't like people invading our space. You know, we need people in our lives who understand that, hey, this person needs space. You know, I'm going to back off for a little bit, you know, and come back in whenever they invite me in, or whenever I feel is the right time for me to, you know, reach out back to the Capricorn. So with Capricorn, you just really have to, you know, give them space. You know, be consistent, be reliable. You know, number five is we don't like people who aren't consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're, you know, if you're reliable, you know, one day reliable for a week, but then a week goes by where you're just like you're hard to reach, or you know, you're just kind of wishy-washy. That's not gonna vibe well with a Capricorn. You know, that shows you're unreliable. You're not consistent. You know, Capricorn needs someone who's consistent 24/7, because Capricorns are so consistent 24/7. You know what I'm saying? We're always there for people in our lives that we love, you know, and oh my lord, people. Diana Ross at the Wolf Trap. That's wonderful. You're interrupting my video though. Um Capricorns need people who are consistent, you know, because we are so consistent. We are people who are always there 24/7 whenever you, well, typically whenever you need us. You know, we're there for you, you know. We're there for people we love, you know what I'm saying? And so we expect the same in return from the people we love. So if you're not consistent, you know what I'm saying, if you're consistently inconsistent, then you and the Capricorn are not going to vibe well. That's going to piss the Capricorn off. Inconsistent people piss Capricorn off, you know? Um What else? I kind of lost track. I guess we're on number 5 or 6. Number 6. What else pisses a Capricorn off? Capricorn doesn't like someone who is a know-it-all. Even though the Capricorn is the know-it-all, the sign of the know-it-all. Capricorn doesn't like people who think they know it all and think that they have power over the Capricorn. They think they have something over the Capricorn. Hey, I am above you because I know all this information. You know what I'm saying? I'm above you because sign your paycheck. People who think they have power over a Capricorn just because of a certain circumstance, that doesn't vibe well with a Capricorn. Like, if you would like to exert power over a Capricorn, or if you would like to maintain power over a Capricorn, you know what I'm saying, then you need to maintain that power in a balanced way, and not be too dictatorial, not leaning too far to the left or too far to the right. You need to really stay in the middle with a Capricorn, because Capricorn will tear you down off of your pedestal that you put yourself on. The Capricorn will little by little, bit by bit, tear you down and let you know. The Capricorn will politely, bring up your flaws, politely, address, the little plot holes in your identity and your personality and your ego. You know, the Capricorn is the type of person, that the Capricorn will be very sweet, and say for instance that the Capricorn is dealing with the boss, and I personally have had this situation where the Capricorn is dealing with the boss, and the boss is just very egotistical, very domineering, and you need to do this, and I need this right now, and I have power over you. You have to do what I say because I signed your paycheck. The Capricorn will be very sweet, because let me tell you something. Now I'm getting kind of off track, but this goes in, like, with the Capricorns, and power play don't go well together. For Capricorn, the workplace for the Capricorn is where the Capricorn thrives. That is where the Capricorn, like, the Capricorn is the ring master of the zodiac. So what you think the Capricorn, while you think the Capricorn is being very, reserved and silent, and kind of focusing on themselves, secretly they're plotting and, like, like, making things happen behind the scenes, and, like, it's like you have to have a trained eye to really see what they're doing. Anyways, I say all that to say, Capricorn is the type of person who will be very sweet to you and say, "Oh, great, I like that suit that you have on today. It's a very, very cute. However, there is a little stain I see on your tie, or, it would be way better if, you had black shoes or red shoes with the tie, because it doesn't match that well." Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Capricorn is the type of person that will be very sweet, but it's gonna throw shade, like, it's like kind of like a backhanded comment, and it's like, "Oh, thank you." The person that comment is towards will be like, "Oh, thank you, that's very sweet." But in the back of their minds, they'll be like, "Did he just shade me? Did she just shade me?" And the Capricorn, will be like, once that, interaction is over, the Capricorn will go back to what they're doing, and not really pay it any mind. And it's like, okay, I served my purpose with that. If that shade went over that head, if that intelligent, you know, um, rebuttal went over their head, then that's on them. You know what I'm saying? I served my purpose then. Like, that's a Capricorn. So Capricorns don't do well with power plays, and the Capricorn will tear you down in that way. It's like, okay, I see what types of things go over their head, so I'm gonna keep throwing little attacks. I'm gonna keep, poking holes in that little ego that this person has, until I break them down and make them realize that they're really not as powerful as they think they are. You know? And I, as the employee, I, as the person, whoever in this situation, actually have more power than he or she thinks. So Capricorn hates people. I guess that would be number 6. I don't know. Capricorn doesn't like people that play mind games. Capricorn doesn't like people that play power plays. Power, tries to, exert power over the Capricorn with mind games, or, being domineering, or, like, dictatorial. Capricorn doesn't do well with that. Like, if you are an authority of a Capricorn, it would be much more beneficial for you to approach that Capricorn with a more loving, nurturing, in a more loving and nurturing way, and a more practical approach and less of a, do as I say approach, Capricorn Capricorn doesn't like people who, take their power, to the extreme. We don't like people who kind of let their power go to their head, because we will let you know real quick, just how powerful you really are, you know. Um, what else makes a Capricorn upset? What else makes a Capricorn pissed? I mean, for every Capricorn, it's different. Like, little things will, make a Capricorn upset. It's like Capricorns have their own little pet peeves, individually, but this is like the foundation of I guess of all Capricorns. What makes all or most Capricorns upset. Or what pisses Capricorns off. You know, I guess number 7 would be Capricorns. What pisses the Capricorns off? Um, I guess this would be the last thing. So 7 things that piss a Capricorn off would be bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. We cannot stand bullshit. Please do not bring us bullshit. Please do not bring us into bullshit. Please do not bring your bullshit to us, and expect us to be your therapist or your psychologist, or expect us to fix your situation for you. Please, if you bring your bullshit to us, don't really expect us to, we're great listeners, but don't expect us to, put anything into the conversation. Don't expect advice back, because, we're not those people, you know what I'm saying? Sure, you can bring your bullshit to our door, but that doesn't mean we're going to open the door and entertain you, So we can't, we don't like bullshit, we have our own bullshit to deal with. We have our own life to live. So we don't need your bullshit, Please don't bring it to us, because it'll be standing right outside that door, outside that front door. And the Capricorn's the type of person where it's like, oh, all that bullshit's outside the front door, let's go in the back door, go around the house, and go to the car. We don't have time for that. Like, Capricorn does not like they will avoid bullshit at all costs. Can't stand it. Can't stand it in relationships, can't stand it in friendships, can't stand it from family members, can't stand it on the job, can't stand it, walking down the street. They just can't stand bullshit, Can't stand it dealing with the cashier at the stores, or the gas station. Like, please just save the bullshit, and you know give it to someone who cares, because Capricorns don't. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out the rest of my videos on Capricorn. I've been doing a long series on Capricorn, for no specific reason other than, I just need people to understand our nature and why we do the things we do, because I know we're really complex, and a lot of times we don't even understand the things we do. So I hope you get something out of this video, Capricorn, and I hope those watching got something out of it. This was 7 things that piss a Capricorn off. Please check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Contact me for your own personal confidential reading at lamarr.townsend@gmail.com. And I'll catch you guys next time. Keep rocking on, Capricorns. Keep being awesome, and F the haters. Alright, see ya.